Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Powder to the People with Riz Peterson. I don't know why there's a little bit of microphone feedback, so we'll tweak that in After Effects or in Logic. I'm here with special guest Peyton. You might know her from It Was Never That Serious.
Hey, everyone.
She's here to talk a little bit about being in a competition center. Peyton is a skier. We're branching out a little bit. I remember I said this was going to be exclusively snowboarding, but I got to pay rent somehow. So, I got to save up to have to pay rent because I'm going to college in Steamboat Springs, and rent is expensive in Steamboat Springs. So, all the money I save from going to a community college is going to have to go straight to rent and food. So, gotta pay the bills somehow, guys. So, we're bringing Peyton on to talk about her experience in a competition center and getting training and coaching and how we can apply that to our own. Because, you're an athlete. If you, you don't really have to compete necessarily to be an athlete. But if you're, serious about your sport, this is a sport. And if you participate in this sport, you're an athlete.
Yeah.
So, you want to give us a little intro, talk about that?
Yeah, so I've been skiing since I was around 3 or 4. The first mountain I learned how to ski at, ironically, is Steamboat. My dad was a ski jumper for the Junior Olympics.
I forgot about that.
So he's a very good skier, much better than I could ever be, and much braver than I could ever be. Ski jumping, once you get to, those huge jumps, that is serious work.
It's landed or die.
It's landed or die, yep. And, so I started skiing more seriously during COVID. Before that, I was just kind of going up to the mountain maybe every other week. But during COVID, we bought a mountain house, and I started going up for, weeks at a time, going every day after school. And my parents started seeing, oh, she's really serious about this. Why don't we put her into a competition center? So when I can't remember whether I think I was 13. No, I was 14 and 15 when they put me into the Winter Park Competition Center. Yeah.
Ooh, that's awesome.
Yep.
So do you want to talk a little bit about, what kinds of coaching you've received and, how they, did you have, team, were you, a ski racer or, what discipline did you do again?
So I just did all mountain, which is kind of for the people that don't really, they can compete, but they don't really want to compete. It's just kind of getting to know the mountain, getting to not really specialize on one thing, but understanding a generalized, appreciation for the mountain and learning how to ski all facets of the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
So when I started that, my first coach was named Jordan, and funny story, actually, I found him on Snapchat, and his username was I love big tits or something like that. But anyways.
That is, guys, you can't see how, flabbergasted I am. My jaw's on the floor.
Yeah, because I put him into my contacts as Jordan, parentheses, ski instructor, and then he pops up on my Snapchat, Jordan, ski instructor, and I was just, flabbergasted.
That's
my
insane.
jaw was on the floor.
That's wild.
I'll show you a screenshot later.
Oh my god! That's actually insane, guys.
Anyways, classic ski instructor moment.
Yeah, that's,
So every day, every Saturday and Sunday, I would go up about 8 o'clock in the morning, and we'd meet at about 8:30, and we would start by doing, an easy run to warm up, so a blue or an easier black, and then
I like how your warm-up is a black in, what is this, Steamboat or Winter Park?
Winter Park, yeah.
Because I'm from the Midwest, guys. Midwestern blacks are a Rocky Mountain blue.
Yeah.
Or
but they're much icier, which...
Yeah.
Okay, here's my opinion on that. I think skiing in the Midwest and on the East makes you a better skier. Because you have to ski in harsher conditions.
Yeah, you're I learned how to snowboard in the worst fucking conditions ever. Straight ice. I remember this one time I was in a mountain that was on Lake Michigan. You could see the Manitou Islands from the mountain. And I had come across, I was doing a little sketchy shit. I was doing a little backcountry, just a little, screwing around out of bounds. Mm-hmm. And I come across what I think is the most pristine powder I've ever seen. beautiful, beautiful powder. I drop in solid ice. I was like, what is this? I was like on my heel edge, and I was like, my chair is so squeaky. I'm standing up. We're both wearing heels right now, so this is like insane because we're going to brunch after this. But literally what happens is I'm like trying to get on my toe edge, and it's like not safe for me to like try to switch edges. So I'm literally just board sliding like down this entire like ice thing, and it was horrible, and I fell on my ass, and it was the most embarrassing thing. I was like, what is it? I mean, like, I was like right below the ski lift because like me and my friend Xander were riding around out of bounds and like below the ski lift because there was like really good powder, and then but like right at the top of the run it was straight ice, and I was like, what is this? So I had to download slopes and pick out my gear and my boots based on what the conditions at the resort were.
Yeah.
So honestly, everybody should download some sort of ski tracker app.
Yes, definitely. And even if you have to pay like $2 for it, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, especially if you can see your top speeds,
Yeah.
you can see how many runs you did, stuff like that. That's really important.
And like time on lifts too, because like
Yeah.
I spend more time on lifts than I do on runs because
Yeah,
tiny
obviously.
Midwestern mountains.
Yeah.
So it's really good to be able to see those kind of like that kind of information with like how much time you're actually spending in the bathroom when you go to go use the bathroom, and you sit there and you tell yourself you're going to take a little break, and then you're there for 30 minutes. So I think that having those kinds of analytics are really, really important and really helpful. And like I think it's just kind of fun because like slopes especially, you can add friends on it, and you can see like what resorts your friends frequent, and you can see your friends' top speeds, and you guys can race, and it's so much fun. That's such a great app, and it's compatible with Apple Watches. So like I wear my Apple Watch when I ride just because it gives me a little bit more, and then I can also track it as a workout in the Apple Fitness app, which is really nice. So like I started thinking of myself more in the last like couple of months as an athlete. So I'm really trying to like eat better and like sleep better because I ate like an entire family size bag of Funyuns a couple of days ago.
Real.
It was delicious. I had a popsicle for breakfast. So I'm trying to treat my body more like the athlete that I know I can be. Because, like, one of my ultimate goals is to get some sort of sponsorship and be able to compete and make money. So, like, and I'm definitely not there yet. It's going to take a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
But I have to put a lot of work into, like, my diet and my training and stuff like that. And, like, off snow, like, dry land training. So how would you say being in a competition center has affected your, like, athleticism?
Oh, it was really intense. I'm not going to lie. Like, going up for 2 days a week from 8 a.m. to 3, that is intense. Like, you only get an hour for lunch break, and then other than that, it's constant skiing, snowboarding, whatever it is. It definitely made me a lot fitter, and I remember, like, when I was a kid and I went skiing, I would be like, this is an exercise? How is this an exercise?
Yeah.
Like, but realistically, most of us are not quite back on the slopes yet.
Right.
But on your first day back on the slope, your legs should be on fire.
Oh my God, dude.
They should be hurting like all hell is loose. And if they're not hurting like that, you're probably doing something wrong.
Yeah. Like, you're gonna be sore. So, like, I was one of the only people in my group because I used to go to a private high school in Michigan, and we would go up to Crystal Mountain every day in January and ride. It was like a class. I got PE credits for this. And I was the only one in my group that rode with a backpack on, and it's that Crusty Burton backpack that's blue and orange that I got on Poshmark for $11. It's my school backpack right now because my mom didn't pack my North Face. Little sad emoji. Ooh. But oh my God, never let me say that shit again.
Never.
No. Oh my God, where did that come from? That was like, I had no control over myself in that moment just now. Oh my God. So literally, I was the only person that would ride with a backpack. I had Aquaphor, I had Band-Aids, I had like an extra like jacket in my backpack, I had Tylenol in there. Like, I was stacked. And one of the biggest things that I keep in like any first aid kit that I own, or just like in any backpack or gym bag or ski bag, topical lidocaine. I don't care if it's Salonpas patches. I don't care if it's icy hot. I don't care what it is. But topical lidocaine is God's gift to the heaven, or God's gift to earth. Like, it is the only thing Like, that shit works on period cramps. You put that shit that just, like, right below your belly button. Oh, my God. It's the only thing that would touch my cramps in middle school. And, like, I put them on the backs of my calves. I put them on the bottoms of my feet. Like, they're on my, like, I've had, like, 4 all down my spine, and my whole back is, like, numb. But I go crazy with Salonpas patches in the winter so I can keep riding and be able to suck it up and push through the pain.
Yeah. And another big thing I loved about being in competition was the way they were able to push me.
Yeah.
Like, I thought I was a really good skier. I'm an advanced skier. But I remember this was my second season doing competition, and I was in a group with all these, like, 10 and 11-year-olds. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't keep up with them.
Yeah.
And I was just like, there was one other girl, and she was a year younger than me, and she was about the same level as me. But she was, like, a little bit better. I was the worst in the group. And it felt awful because I was like, why can I not keep up with these 11-year-olds?
Yeah.
And the thing is, some people are just going to be better than you. But the thing about someone being better than you is that they push you to be a better skier, snowboarder.
Yeah.
Like, I would not be where I am today if I did not have to keep up with those kids. And the reason they were better than me is not always because they're more athletic than you, because they are naturally better at skiing than you. A lot of times it's just that they have more time on the mountain.
Yeah.
Is that most of these kids were coming from the middle school in Winter Park, where they get half days so they can go skiing and snowboarding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah.
And, like, I got really good really, really fast because I am incredibly privileged and go to private school and was at a private school with a great snow sports program. It wasn't like a competition team. It was just a class that they would haul you up there and give you money for food. But I was very, very fortunate to have that opportunity. And that's the only reason I own my gear, is because my parents knew because I'd wanted to be a snowboarder since I saw Cloud9 in 2014. And I'd wanted to be a snowboarder since Sochi 2014 Winter Olympics. Like, 2014 was that year for me. I was like 8, 9 or something. And my parents knew that I wanted this. And I'm one of those people that, like, I get an idea in my head and I will not drop it. So autism, risen with the tism. So basically, my parents kind of knew that this was something I was going to stick with because it was something I'd wanted forever. Mm-hmm. So they ended up, my bunch of my family members pooled money together and bought me my board, my boots, my bindings, and all of my gear at a local ski shop. Are you familiar with Garrettson's in Greeley?
No.
It is the best ski shop ever. It's so good. You talk to John Labato at Garrettson's. That man gave me a discount on every single one of my, like, pieces of equipment. It was amazing. He's great.
At some, I can't remember what sporting store it is, but there is an exchange program for people under 16 for skis. And I got a pair of Black Crows from that program, which I've been rocking for 2 years now. But it's honestly, like, I traded in the most shitty pairs of skis, and then I got, like, Black Crows for, like, maybe 200, 150. Wow. And so I would really look out because, ski and snowboarding stuff can be really unaffordable, but there are ways that you can make it affordable.
Yeah, like, I forget what the YouTuber, it's Ryan, like, Turbis or something on YouTube, and he has thrifted almost all of his gear.
Yep.
I thrifted I thrifted my boots. I thrifted my favorite pants. They're Columbia pants. I thrifted a few of my jackets, but, like, the mountain that I grew up at was Terry Peak in Deadwood, South Dakota, because I'm from South Dakota. And that's a very, very touristy mountain. You don't have regulars there. It's people that go up on Christmas and Valentine's Day and New Year's, and that's it. Like, you get a season pass if you go there more than 2 days. That's basically it. Mm-hmm. And there is a regular there. I don't know what his name is. He's an amazing snowboarder, only rides rentals, and you can pick him out because he's always got the yellow Burton bindings, because you know how every snowboard from the ski or from a mountain that's like a rental is always the same. It's always the same Burton board. Yep. And they're really nice boards. I just don't like them. They're too flexible for me. But this guy rides in a Carhartt jacket, white camo coyote hunting pants, which are basically just camouflage snow pants, and a black felt cowboy hat.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he shreds.
Yeah, I love on like when we get to spring skiing. I am fully one of those people that will shred in a bikini and a tutu.
Real? That's so real. I want to do that so bad, but I'm
yeah.
affiliated with the mountain that I am going to be riding at this winter.
So you can't really do it.
I really can't do that. Like, I have to cover the mountain logo on the back of my jacket if I'm free riding, so.
Yeah, I like, there have been multiple days where I've come to the mountain with a tutu and, you know, just like, I'll wear like a swimsuit and then I'll wear like a small jacket on top of it because spring skiing gets really hot.
Yeah, it does. Like, you're sweating.
Yeah.
You get sweaty. And, like, I'm one of those people, I'm always out there. Like, I'm a big pants, little shirt kind of girl. And I'm so mad that it got stolen because I would always ride in my Lululemon Align jacket.
Oh.
Or, like, a t-shirt. I had this big t-shirt that's, like, something like Tiki Time. And it's got, like, a little tiki head on it. And it's blue, so it matches my backpack. And I would always wear that. And I thrifted that t-shirt, and that was, like, my, like, brand, was this fugly blue t-shirt and that backpack.
I recently, my mom, so she stopped snowboarding. My mom was a snowboarder, not a good one, but, like, only would do blues. One time we took her on a black, she started crying.
That's so real. She listens to this podcast, by the way. Hi, Peyton's mom.
She just handed me down a black Burton jacket.
Ooh.
I'm very excited to wear it.
Yeah. I have a black Burton jacket. I would love like one of those AK Burton jackets because I'm affiliated with the mountain, because I'm working as a snowboarding instructor this fall, I get pro deals through Expert Voice, which is basically just when companies give you a discount code because you work in the industry. Mm-hmm. So I have a Burton discount code, and I think I get like 25% off Burton gear, and it's only like select items. And there's only certain brands that do it, but the nice thing about working in the outdoors industry, I get pro deals on, like, optics companies, and Expert Voice is really fun because a lot of companies that make ski goggles, dirt goggles for, like, motocross and stuff like that, they also make scopes, and my dad is big into hunting, so, yeah.
Guys,
he might get a nice scope for something.
Speaking of that, so my dad's really only into skiing and beer, and I need to know what to get him for his birthday and for Christmas. So if anybody has any ideas, drop them in the comments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, drop them in the comments, guys, if you have ideas. Because, like, dads are so hard to shop for. Mm-hmm. Like, I always, like... I had this wonderful Christmas plan that I was going to, like, do to get Christmas gifts for my family, and then I sent it to my older sister. She was like, you realize you're going to have to pay rent in Steamboat next year, right? And I was like, ooh...
Yeah.
Yikes. Because, like, I'm moving up to the independent living program here at our current school, like, at some point this winter. And then I'll go from that independent living program to the company housing at the mountain.
Yep.
Where I'm going to have to pay rent for both the independent living and the company housing. So, I got to start saving, so y'all might not get anything for Christmas this year, I'm sorry. And I also won't be there because I'm working, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm considering getting a job on the mountain, too.
You should.
I think I should.
Mm-hmm. I think it'd be fun.
I'm a little bit scared because I didn't go skiing at all last year because I was in treatment. Like, I only went twice. And I might be a little bit rusty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're just keep teaching little kids pizza french fry, though.
Okay. I can do that.
Mm-hmm. So you were, like, a certified leash kid, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you were a leash kid with... Well, not really a leash kid. We've talked about this before. You had the little thing that holds your skis together.
Yeah. I hated that thing. My dad would be like, all right, come on, Peyton, we're putting on whatever it's called. And I'd be like, no! I'd be running away.
You just run away. That's so real. So I was the opposite of a leash kid. I started snowboarding when I was 16.
Wow. The growth that you've made, like, to working at a resort is crazy.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's a really great opportunity, but it just goes back into, like, privilege, because this is a very privileged sport.
Yes,
like,
very much
I would not be working in a mountain if I did not go to that other private school and have the opportunity to ride every single day.
Yep, agreed.
Because, like, that place, my tuition paid for my season pass.
Mm-hmm.
And I own my gear, and my parents are more than happy to replace gear if stuff breaks. They just want me to be responsible and not break stuff. I've broken 3 helmets, and they're a little bit frustrated with that. But they keep buying me nicer helmets every time it happens, I think because they're scared. So, yeah. But, like, it's a very privileged sport, and making it affordable isn't difficult. It just takes a lot of effort. It's just kind of tedious.
Oh, I still have the same helmet I wore for my first season of skiing, and I met some really good friends there. I don't talk to them anymore, but, like, I wish I could, but they wrote all over my helmet, and it's like with paint marker. So my helmet's all decorated with like shit on it, and it says, we used to call ourselves the Gapers because like when you have your
the Jerry Gap.
Yeah, the Jerry Gap. But we call it the Gapers Gap where I'm from. Between your helmet and your goggles, and we called ourselves the Gapers Gaps. And yeah, so that's like written on the back of my helmet, and I miss them so much. I love them.
I would always I signed my helmet, and then I had my Instagram on the front of it, and then I broke that helmet on the last day of the season. So my current helmet has nothing on it because it's a white Smith something. I forget what it is.
I think mine's a Smith too.
Yeah, my mountain is a Smith mountain, so I have to have Smith. Like when I buy a helmet with my discount code, I don't get discounts on Oakley.
Oh, wow.
So, I think I do, but the Mountain just prefers, because the Mountain is sponsored by Smith, they do prefer that you wear Smith gear if you're an instructor.
Yeah.
So, and I prefer Smith anyway. I think Oakley's really, really expensive for no reason.
Yep, agreed.
Brands that are overrated. You contribute to this. Burton. I love Burton. I love their products. I think they're great.
So expensive.
So fucking expensive. You can get the same shit for lower. Like, and because, like, when I wasn't, like, in the industry and when I wasn't riding, like, the first time I ever, like, was, like, shopping for a snowboard, I was, like, 9. And I was, like, on the Burton website because I was like, oh, Burton's the best. Like, this is the best gear I can get. This is the nicest gear. This is what the rich people ride. That shit is what posers ride, and that is what rich people ride. But you can get better. I'm a Never Summer girl. I ride Never Summer and K2 and Vans.
Yep.
Like, and if I swear to God, if I see anybody out there in a Prada board.
Oh my God. I cannot deal. Okay.
Ugh, the girls with the all Prada, like, outfits.
The people that wear the microwave, we call them the microwave outfits. Because they'll be, like, a one suit with, like, that shiny, and I'm like, you do not know how to ski or snowboard, do you? And you're just here on the mountain for the Instagram photos.
No, like, you're just here because you have a condo in Aprez.
Yeah, you have a condo in Vail or Aspen or whatever, and like you don't even want to ski. You spend your time at the lodge, like doing work or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, like, it is fun to, like, do your homework in the lodge.
It is fun.
It is fun. But, like, you're there for the Instagram pictures. I swear, I see those one-piece jumpsuits, and unless you are from the 80s and you have rear entry ski boots and you've been skiing since, like I forget if she's the hiring manager or the HR manager at the mountain I work at. She's been skiing since, like, 1973. So I sit down in this woman's office, and she's like, this is my name, this is where I'm from, I've been riding since 1973, and my jaw actually hit the fucking floor. I was like...
That's how long my dad has been riding, too, because he was born... 1970.
That's how long my mom has been alive.
Wow.
I was like, well, what is this? So I think it's really interesting to, like, anyway, I'm going to circle back here, but I think it's really interesting to see our progression in the sport when we both started at completely different times.
Yep.
And how being in treatment has affected that progression.
Yeah. Like, for me, it's made me regress a little bit because I haven't been skiing that much. But for Riz, it's really helped them, you know, get into their zone and actually learn how to, like, hone in on that sport.
Yeah. There was a point this last season, so it would have been spring of 2024. I was at school and I was really struggling and I was going to go home on a mental health leave. And they let me go to the mountain with the snow sports class. And one of the reasons, because I struggle with seasonal depression and my biggest coping mechanism is snowboarding. Like, that's the number one thing that helps me through it. And so I'd been really, really struggling because I wasn't in the snow sports class. I was planning on going to Spain with the school, like, class that was going to Spain. So I wasn't at the mountain every day. I was at the mountain, like, 4 times that season, and it was awful. I hated it. It made me so upset to see the bus leave every day without me.
Yeah.
And they let me go with the snow sports class for the afternoon for that last day that I was on campus before I went home on my mental health leave. And I remember I was sitting on the lift because I was, like, actively, like, really, really depressed. Like, I would be considered a danger to myself. And I'm sitting on the ski lift, and I'm just like, you know how when you're sitting on a lift with your friends and you're like, yo, do you guys think we'd live if we jumped?
Yeah.
Like, I was doing that, and I was like, nah. Like, this is not a healthy thought for me to have right now.
Yeah.
So, but it genuinely, just, like, the impact on your mental health, like, being outside in the winter. If you are seasonally depressed,
Do it.
do it.
I don't know, like, I'm always going to remember the first time skiing the chutes at my home mountain, Winter Park. I can't remember whether, I think it was the Winter Park side, not the Mary Jane side, because there's actually 2 mountains combined into one, Winter Park and Mary Jane.
Yeah.
Anyways, you guys get the gist. But I remember just going up to the top, and we had to hike like
Yeah.
a half mile, a mile, and
Those are the best runs.
it was just the utter peace of just feeling the wind and seeing the mountains surround me and seeing the little town down below. It felt like something had clicked and everything was complete.
Like, everything has purpose.
Yeah.
Kind of. Like, one of my favorite memories was I was riding solo. I was, like, my friends were at the mountain, but I was riding by myself. And the main lift at Crystal Mountain, it's called Clipper, and it broke at one point. And so a bunch of, like, the main runs, they call it Main Street and Basin Street, were closed. And they were only closed because there was no way to get to them. They were completely safe. So I took it upon myself to take the other lift, the Buck lift, up the mountain to, like, the other peak, because it's kind of like a Twin Peaks thing. I would go up the Buck lift, hike a quarter mile up to the top of Basin Street, and this is, like, it's, like, they call it Basin Street because it's, like, literally a bowl, and it was filled with powder.
Wow.
Like, instead of a basin, it was, like, a hump. And I rode that down, and that was one of my best runs ever. And just, like, riding in this, like, pristine powder because they turned on the snow machines. And it was, like, whiteout conditions. It was dumping. And they had the snow machines on full blast for some reason. And I was ducking the line. Never got caught. I watched people that went right behind me get their passes cut in half. And I decided it wasn't worth it. But, like, the run was amazing. And so I'm a powder girly till I die. Powder and, like, jumps. Like, I'm not really a slopestyle girly. I'm more of a fan of, like, big air. I can't land cool shit.
The same.
But that's fun, and that's what matters. And I'm working on landing the cool shit. And
the only trick I can do is a 180.
Yeah, I can't even do a flat 180. I can do it in the air, but I can't do a flat. But I told myself that I'm going to get really, really good at riding Switch this year while I'm on the Bunny Hill teaching kids.
Yeah.
And I'm going to only ride Switch. But there's a thing, I think it was Ryan Purvis, or Turvis, or whatever the fuck his last name is, that said every other day he was going to ride Switch.
Wow.
Because he rides regular. And I think I'm going to do that this season. And only ride Switch for a day.
One of my other favorite memories is, this is so stupid. This was my first season. The season that, like, there was actually kids my age and I was having a lot more fun.
Yeah.
But we all hung onto each other's poles.
Oh, I love doing that.
And we, like, circled down the mountain and everybody was like, watch out! And
just steamrolling everybody.
Steamrolling everybody down the mountain, and we were just, like, spinning down the mountain, and it was just so much fun, and I'll just never forget it. It was truly, like, one of the best experiences I've had in my life.
Like, I remember a while ago, I was on a Black Diamond run, and of course Midwestern Blacks are, like, Rocky Mountain Blues, and aside from, like, the icy, chunky conditions.
Yeah.
But I was on a black, it was a really short one, because Midwestern runs are, like, 200 feet long, like, they're really short. And I was on this run with a bunch of friends. It was the last run of the day. The school van was waiting for us at the base of the mountain. Like, you could see the van, and you could see our teachers yelling at us to get in the van, and we were at the top of this run. And we just kept hitting it, and that was the first black I ever hit, and, like, survived. It was the first black I ever was able to get down without falling once, and I was so proud of myself. Because, like, I felt like a poser when I couldn't do stuff like that, because I had all this nice gear, and I was in this snow sports class, and I was there every day, but I sucked. And so finally landing that and landing my first, like, just straight air, like, thing, just going over a jump and landing it, was amazing. And I was like, okay, I finally feel like I belong.
Yeah,
Cause, like,
that's a beautiful feeling.
Yeah, because the park is such, like, an intimidating place. I remember for the first time, there's 2 places to go skiing or snowboarding in South Dakota. And that's Terry Peak, up over in the west, and Great Bear in the east. And Great Bear is like country club skiing. It's tiny. It's in the middle of Sioux Falls, which is the biggest city in the state. And it's tiny, and they have a rope tow. They have a really nice park, and this was the first time I ever heard a rope tow. I grabbed that shit, got thrown at the ground, full-on scorpion. My board hit me in the back of my head, and I was like, what is that? It was so embarrassing. And this guy with a Red Bull helmet pulls up, and he's like, you good? I was like face down in snow. I was like, yep. Good, just face planted in the park in front of all these cute guys. I was like, this is really fucking embarrassing. But I hit a rail for the first time that day. I just couldn't do the rope toe. So I would take the actual lift up. I would take the long way instead of the rope toe. And it was horrible. But, like, you meet so many cool people in the park, so I'm really trying to get over that fear.
Cool people. But I think my worst experience skiing was probably, like, okay, so I'm not at the base, but I'm at the lift, the base of the lift. And I turn around to look for the rest of my ski class. Because for some reason, for once in my life, I had beat the rest of my ski class.
That's so real.
And so I'm like waiting for them. And this guy rams into me. I fucking fall to the ground, full on blackout for a second. And I get up. This guy is gone. Bro didn't even have the decency to check on the person who was on the ground.
Oh, that's horrible.
My pole snapped in half.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's not like snapped in half, but like it's at a 90-degree angle.
Oh my god.
I can show it to you sometime.
I didn't know that could happen.
Yeah, I didn't know that could happen either.
That's wild.
So there are some. I would say the community on the mountain is stronger than the people that outweigh the community on the mountain and are like genuinely mean.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
It's just like you have to watch out for the people that don't know what they're doing because, like, try not to cut them off. Try to give them extra space.
Yeah.
Try to check on them if they fall because you never know. That was you at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, I make it a personal point that, especially with little kids, because I love little kids. I think they're so funny. Anytime, like, I untangled a kid from a snow fence once because he was, like, upside down in the fence. I was like, you okay, buddy? He was like, no. He was, like, crying. Because I was the kid that was crying on the mountain at one point.
Yeah.
And because I had an instructor that sucked, and he went straight into having me learn how to carve. And I was like, bro, I don't know how to stop. Why are you telling me to get on my toes? Like, this makes no sense. And I helped this kid, and he unclipped his board completely, and it started going down the mountain, and I rolled over and catched it. Hello.
Caught it.
And I was like, make sure you stay clipped in, or when you put it on the ground, you put it upside down on your bindings so it doesn't go down the mountain, because that's really embarrassing, and people can get hurt. And I was just like, I was so proud of myself, because I looked at this kid like 2 hours later, and he was killing it.
Yeah.
And it's so rewarding. Like, I had a project kid at my previous high school that he picked up snowboarding faster than anybody else in the history of that program at the school. He was on Blues in 2 days.
Wow.
He is an amazing snowboarder. Rental kid, finally bought his own gear, bought step-ins from Burton. Wow. And I was like, bro, what the fuck? Why would you get Burton step-ins? Just wait for the clues to come out. I'm so excited. I'm buying clues this winter, and I'm so excited because I hate the Burton step-ins so much. Again, I've never tried them. I'm just a hater. So this kid is like a project of mine, and he's literally better than me at this point, and I've been snowboarding for 2 years longer than he has. And I think it's really important to ride with people that are better than you.
Yep, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
Because it pushes you, like, to catch up with them. They can give you tips. I just think it makes you such a better skier or snowboarder.
I think it's for sure, like, it just pushes you, and it makes you take more chances. And, like, obviously you should, like, be safe, but it forces you to send it and, you know, land it or be embarrassed in front of your cool friends.
Yes.
So, like, land it or die is, like, kind of a motto that I have going into this year. Because, like, I want to send it over some crazy shit and, you know, land it. And just, like, you have to, like, if y'all have ever seen Cloud 9, Cloud 9 is a comfort movie of mine. It's a Disney Channel original movie with Dove Cameron, and it's about snowboarding. And coincidentally, the 2 main characters are the names of 2 of my exes. Which is really funny, and one of them looks exactly like my ex. It's scary. But funny. That movie is, like, there's a line in the movie where the one snowboarder guy that's coaching Dove Cameron's character is like, it takes no fear. Like, you can't be scared, otherwise you will fall. Like, you have to just send. Like, I've gotten hurt more times bailing than I have sending it.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Like, it just, you have to be brave. You have to be smart. You can't be a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
But you have to be brave and send it over some scary shit.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying go cliff jumping, but you get the point.
Yeah.
So, I think that's where we'll probably call the episode here. Thank you so much for listening. You can follow me on Instagram at riz.img. No affiliation with IMG Academy. You can follow the podcast here on Spotify or on YouTube at powder_2_the_people, because Powder to the People was taken. The profile picture is a really bad selfie of me, and I post all my snowboarding TikToks on there. It's just a great time. Hopefully I'll have long-form YouTube videos up there at some point. It's going to be great. Thank you so much for listening. I love you.